Welcome back. Super excited moving forward. In this lecture, I'm going to talk about two essential things. First, what is Einstein artificial intelligence? And then there are two subsets to this, which is Einstein intent and the image classification, or also called the sentiment. So we're going to take a look at how Einstein artificial intelligence works within Salesforce. So just to introduce the actual concept first, we create natural language processing models, right? So as Salesforce developers, we create these models to classify the intent of the text. So for example, you have big data, so you want to create a model off of that big data and then come up with some results or predictions. So one of the reasons, of course, is to classify the intent of text, or to classify text as positive, negative, and neutral. So when you try to classify text as these three elements, positive, negative, and neutral, you're actually working with sentiments, right? So this is the second aspect of Salesforce Einstein AI. The first one is to intent of the text, and then the second is the positive, negative, or neutral sentiments. So we use the Einstein language APIs to build the natural language processing into your apps. So first, the Einstein intent. Basically, we categorize unstructured text into user-defined labels to better understand what users are trying to accomplish. Then we leverage the Einstein intent API to analyze the text from emails, chats, or web forms to do several things. First, we can determine what products prospects are interested in and send customer inquiries to the appropriate salesperson. Second, identify topics across unstructured text in emails, meeting notes, or account notes to summarize key points. Third, route the service cases to the correct agents or departments, or provide self-service options. And then finally, to understand customer posts to provide personalized self-service in your own communities. So the Einstein intent gives you several options that you can come up with or predict. So visually, this is how Einstein intent works. So you have big data on the left. What Einstein does based off of this unstructured data, for example, will evaluate this data based on your question that you ask, such as you're asking a question in a natural language process, and then based on the result or the prediction, the answer can be routed to the respective department, be it sales, accounting, or customer service. The second part is the Einstein sentiment or image classification. The Einstein language includes two APIs that you can actually unlock powerful insights within the text. So the Einstein sentiment, we can classify the image of text into either positive, negative, and neutral classes, as I mentioned earlier, to understand the feeling behind the text. And then we can use the API to analyze emails, social media, and text from chat to, again, accomplish several things. First, we can identify the sentiment of a prospect's email to find out about trends or trend, a lead or opportunity up or down. Provide proactive service by helping dissatisfied customers first, or extending promotional offers to satisfied customers. So very powerful. Third, we can use the trending sentiment to identify product deficiencies and measure overall satisfaction, or on the other hand, dissatisfaction with products. And finally, we can use the Einstein sentiment to monitor the perception of the brand across social media channels, identify brand evangelists, and monitor customer satisfaction. Here's a use case of Einstein sentiment. So let's say you're a developer, Salesforce developer that works for Alpine, a company produces and sells cereal. So this company wants to monitor which products are found on store shelves and where those products are located. So they have these sales reps that visit various markets and take photos of shelves in a cereal aisle. So obviously you're collecting huge amounts of data across the country. So your job as a developer is to create a model that identifies these cereal boxes in an image. So the model will return the types of cereal and the coordinates of where the box is located in the image. So how does it all work? The intent and the sentiment, right? How does Einstein artificial intelligence works? So simple steps, and we are going to, in this course, of course, take a look at the Einstein intent. For example, first we're going to define the classes. That's step one. So if you're working with Einstein intent, for example, you can have data, shipping data, billing data, or product data. As a second step, you can gather your data and then ask questions like, I like to check the status of my order. How can I switch billing preferences? Do you have any more shoes? These are the questions that users would ask from your company or organization. So based on all of this, let's say you throw out a survey, right, and you ask all of these questions. So once you have the results of the questions, you can take these questions and identify labels to those questions. For example, all of the shipping related questions would be assigned to the shipping data label. All of the billing related questions that you gather from users will be assigned to the billing label, and so on. So once you gather data in step 2, step 3 is actually training your model. This is where you as a developer would come in and train the model or create the models as well. So once you train the model with one simple API call, at step 4 you would upload the text, and that text is basically your question that you are going to ask off of the data that you've collected. So you can ask something like, I'm tired of waiting, where are my shoes? Obviously this relates to the shipping label, right? This question relates to the shipping label. So Einstein AI is going to go ahead and evaluate, based on several iterations, this particular question that you've asked in a natural language, and then based on the intent, finally is going to give you the prediction, which is step 5. So the intent or the prediction of shipping is 73.8% and negative is 60.2%. So based on the result, obviously we understand that the intent is to ship, and then you can work on building smarter applications in the final step. And you can easily embed these deep learning into your applications to enrich the customer experience. So this is the flow of Salesforce Einstein intent. Similarly, sentiment, which is the second aspect, either could be positive, neutral, or negative. So as step 1, which is defining your classes, and step 2, working with Einstein sentiment, which is fixed, by the way, right? So you can have 3 things: positive, neutral, or negative. And then step 2 in Einstein sentiment is gather your data. For example, your product rocks, my shoes arrived, this is what I get when I try to change my mind. So these are the 3 types of sentiments that the users can provide as a feedback. Based on these, you would then train your model, upload the text, and receive prediction. And then finally build smarter applications. So very powerful working with Salesforce AI intent and sentiment. Alright, great. So I hope you understand the concept of Salesforce artificial intelligence, working with intent and sentiment, the actual workflow, and how does it all work. So hope this helps. With this, let's move to the next lesson.